Throughout my varied and busy dental career, I've been part of an organisation that's provided me with tremendous support and amazing collegiality with my dental colleagues. I've been a member of the Dental Study Group of Western Australia for almost 40 years now. I was very honoured to have been invited to join the group so many years ago. I also feel very privileged to have been part of such a long-standing and honourable organisation, which I'm sure will still be running for WA dentists of the future. This has given me regular exposure to areas within dentistry outside of my specialty and my day-to-day expertise. Along with that, the social connections with the general dentists and the specialist members of the group have developed into many lifelong friendships. This video commemorates the 70th anniversary of the Dental Study Group of WA. Established in 1954, it's one of the longest continually running dental study groups in Australia. We're going to start with one of our founding members, one of the dentists who established the group back in 1954.
Well, my name's Ted Adler. I'm 95 years old. I'm the last surviving foundation member of the Dental Study Group. And I come from a time when we needed some sort of postgraduate education which wasn't available. So a few of us got together and eventually formed the study group with 20 people. We started the group in 1954 because there hadn't been any postgraduate courses till then, and everybody had a hunger for more knowledge. So a few of us got together and formed the Dental Study Group with a constitution and a requirement to put a bit of effort into it.
The Western Australian Dental Faculty was established in Perth back in 1950, and the new course that was created in this year provided students with a degree that replaced the previously offered diploma. Graduates of this program found that they had no easy access to further learning opportunities. So it was that a group of 5 local Perth dentists recognised the opportunity and the need for a local dental study group in Perth.
Everybody was enthusiastic and strong, and in my view, that enthusiasm and strength laid a foundation, which is what the study group was built on, and what was the basis of why it's still there 70 years later.
I think from the day you graduate, you're in a learning mode, and if you're not learning, you're going backwards. So the study group had to exist because there was very, very little postgraduate education in this state. The Dental Study Group was the first of what you might call specialist groups, or whatever you want to call them. The ADA put on, I think once a year, they had a week's program of lectures, and they may have had odd lectures during the year at their monthly meetings, but we were really hard up for advancing our knowledge in many, many things.
We had 20 members to start. How do you get them? You get the job of Ross Taylor, who was a hard but fair lecturer, who knew the strengths and weaknesses of his students. The study group was the way we learned more about restorations, about dentures, about orthodontia, about root fillings, and the way they got it, not from Australia, but quite a few of the study group members went overseas to get their masters and come back. So we had a pretty select crowd of educated dentists.
Inspired by the Dental Study Club of Brisbane, the first in Australia, they called a meeting in December 1954 to form their own group. 20 other interested dentists were named as foundation members, and a constitution was proposed. These new members invited Professor KJG Sutherland, the Dean of the new Faculty of Dental Science, to be patron of the group. The founding members included Drs. John McGibbon, Ron Rankin-Wilson, Ted Adler, Ray Owen, and Ross Taylor, amongst others.
It was going to be limited to 20 people, on the understanding that if you have more than 20 people, there's always somebody who dominates the talking. Less than that, it's not good enough. Plus, with 20 people, everybody was required to give a paper once within 2 years. And that was all in the Constitution. And to make it really important, if you missed 2 meetings, you were automatically dismissed.
The ethos of the group has always been participation, and it's great to see that this has continued on over the years. It's always been a very small group, by invitation only. I've always wanted to lift the bar, I think that's what the study group is all about, lifting your own personal bar, because some of the presentations from some of the amazing clinicians in the group, I just sit back and go, wow, and I think it's just, if it makes my day, any tips and tricks that makes my day go a lot easier or helps me achieve, it's a personal achievement, and I think that's what we lack in society, the ability to, have a good look at yourself and lift your personal bar and ambitions, and say, yeah, is that the best I can really do? Maybe I can have a crack and do it better next time. And you do need to have a specialist network to work with, and who have become my close friends and, will help you, when you do get into some grief over your career. So you can't do it alone.
In WA especially, I don't know about other states and places, but in WA it was very camaraderie. It was very, everybody was trying to help everyone. Nobody was so keeping secrets. Nobody was hiding what they could do. They were sharing pretty much everything. So you got a good understanding of how to run a dental practice, I suppose.
From this first meeting on the 9th of December 1954, the Dental Study Group of Western Australia was born. Membership was conditional on regular attendance at the meetings, as well as a willingness to contribute to the scientific program and the open sharing of knowledge.
We talk of mentoring of new graduates, but I think that mentoring needs to go on for some time, and this is the group that provided.
When we had the weekend conventions, one that I was involved with as the secretary was we had it up in York, and we only had a very small budget, so we were in simple places, simple foods, simple drinks, but it was very much just the emphasis was on continuing education and sharing knowledge. There was much less available than there is now. So with the internet and, it's very easy to get furthering education, whereas back in the day that was really one of the only ways, apart from travelling a long way to go to conferences a lot of the time. So it was a really good way to keep in touch with what was going on in other parts of dentistry.
I think the Dental Study Group is extremely important for the profession. I think it's something that we are able to take our information that we have gained, listen to other people talking about information that they have gained over the years, and they share it with everybody else in a very open way.
Its purpose was to be a common meeting place for both specialists and general practitioners, with exchange of information and ideas to stimulate reading, investigation, and discussion of various dental topics. These included dental trauma, dental needs of the disabled, oral rehabilitation, and, notably, fluoridation. This in-depth study on fluoridation was pivotal in group members and the Dental Association campaigning together to have fluoridation introduced to Western Australia. In 1967, as a direct result of group members' involvement, it was legislated.
I think the time when I was Secretary-Treasurer, and I was actually reading back on some of the archives that was in the boxes that I received, especially in preparation for the 60th anniversary, was how the group was so much responsible for the fluoridation in Western Australia, and a lot of those kind of milestone things that we hear about, but actually never knew who was actually instigating them all. So that was good.
We come from a time when we had to try to introduce fluoridation, which you wouldn't know about. And the organisation of that really took something, with all the students doing with all the members doing something. And since then, people have kept up with the changes, which is what I found the most satisfying part.
We were just lucky that we had this group of devoted dentists. As we talked earlier, our dental study group was mainly responsible for fluoride being introduced into the water supply in WA, thanks to 3 or 4 dentists that went out of their way in their own time every night of the week for weeks and weeks, promoting fluoride into government departments, schools, PNCs, and any group that would listen, because there was a lot of opposition to fluoride.
The program for the group's first full calendar year, 1955, was 10 general meetings and 1 AGM. The group members were active in their own practices, and many were involved in teaching at the dental faculty. A number of them also completed and published their own academic research projects.
The group is very easy conversation amongst people, very easy to engage with specialists and general practitioners alike. And the group is specifically balanced in that way. So certain number of specialists, certain number of general practitioners. And we've stuck to that over the years, I believe, in that we've managed to keep that balance of general practitioners and specialists. And also there's a balance of the different types of specialties as well. So you get to meet people from all the different areas of dentistry and get to chat to people in a very easy, friendly way.
To be frank, and no disrespect to my amazing specialist colleagues, but they only have to deal in one field, But to be able to do everything else competently is difficult, and you can get yourself into some trouble. And to avoid that, groups like the Dental Study Group really do help.
Coming back into the group as a periodontist, I was certainly very welcomed. We were unique, so we were absolutely busy as.
The networking to me as the future of the group is going to be more important because, again, the availability of online education is so much out there, and there are so many courses being run that great, but all that knowledge is yourself within for yourself. The networking of being able to discuss what you hear or read or learn that's where the networking is important.
I had a lot of confidence in what I was doing, and I was bringing something different as far as periodontics was concerned to Western Australia. So I just went and I worked for periodontists for a few years, and then just camped in a surgery, sharing with another specialist, and started my own practice. So I just started that from scratch and then built it up over the years.
It is the conscious combination of specialist and general dental members that makes the study group so unique. Today, Australia has 13 areas of recognised specialty practice. It's hard to imagine that when the study group was formed, there were only 2 specialties, oral surgery and orthodontics, and only 5 specialists.
I was privileged in travelling around the world in different places. I spent time in the Kantonsspital in Zurich because they were better at bone surgery. I spent time in the UK because they were better at not anatomy but at pathology, because the dentists were just offshoots of the medical people there. The fact that they were traditional, they were still cutting bone with a hammer and chisel, whereas I in Perth for years had been using electrical instruments.
In 1954, there were just 2 oral surgeons in Western Australia. Dr. Ted Adler graduated in the very first dental faculty class at the University of Western Australia in 1950, and continuing with his master's degree, he was the first person to complete an MDSC at UWA. His postgraduate career included research and academic visits to overseas universities, and in 1982 he became the first Australian oral surgeon to pioneer titanium implants in Australia after spending time with Professor Brennemark in Sweden. Many members of the study group were also instrumental in introducing the orthodontic curriculum at UWA, the development of prosthodontics, endodontics, periodontics and paedodontics in Western Australia.
My first experiences were when I first joined and asked to come along, was they used to meet before the meeting in one of the local restaurants, and they'd get there, have dinner first, and then go. And what I found was actually that was one of the best times, because got to networking with a lot of the specialists that we knew from school, but also just got to know through various courses, and it was a good time of sharing before we got to the meeting.
There was terrific bonding and friendships within that group. A lot of support, friendships that lasted forever. Amongst my friends, Ross Warman and I fished for years, and there was a dental basis to it, but it was friendship.
So one of the great things of the study group is the camaraderie and the close friendships that I have made over the years, which is, as a side benefit, has been almost the creation of a dental study group of WA cycling group, which we've, there's probably about a half a dozen of us that are members of the study group. Then we have had the pleasure of going cycling to Italy and Greece, and again in 2025 we're back up into Italy again. So yeah, that's just been an amazing and wonderful experience to do with the guys, and hopefully I can still get on a bike and still continue to punch it out.
In 1957, the group held its first weekend convention at UWA. This consisted of 3 days of lectures, which were so successful that the weekend conventions have continued annually ever since. They bind the group and their families together, as group members attend lectures during the day, while spouses attend a social program, followed by dinner for all. Recent conventions have been in Kalgoorlie, Broome and on Rottnest Island, with members and their families all mingling together.
When we were a small group, the wives also were knowing each other too. And as they say, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So the study group at its annual general meeting decided to have it in a vineyard, Molinari's vineyard, in what is now called Osborne Park. We did this for a few years, and then John Murphy, one of the members, whose principal contribution was playing the piano at one of these things, took too much to drink, drove away and rolled his car. We decided at that stage we needed to be more professional. So in future we decided our annual general meetings would be black tie in a city restaurant. And that's the way it's kept on going right up till now, and I hope it doesn't change.
One of my proudest moments, I think, was being the president, first female president, and that was in the 50th anniversary of the dental study group. And we had a really great function, I think it was really great, at Mount Lawley Golf Club, where I was a member at the time, and we had a dinner dance and lots of the old members that were retired members. There was a big crowd there, and I managed to get Fiona Wood, who happened to be Australian of the Year by the time she spoke at the meeting, and it was a really fabulous event, so I was very proud of that.
The 60th anniversary was in 2014, and I was the president at the time of the dental study group. I hate being in front of a big large crowd, standing up front trying to say something to the big group, but I love organising events, and so it was right down to my alley of just being able to organise things with a beautiful committee of people who were really hardworking. And together we pulled it off. It was held at Fraser's in Kings Park, beautiful setting. We had I really can't remember how many people turned up, but there was a lot. And it was a beautiful event, and I was so pleased it all went well, and was really thankful to have been a part of it.
The 50th anniversary celebrations of the study group, held 20 years ago, summed it up well. The ethic of continuous study on which the study group was founded has proven to be a powerful influence in the overall development of the dental profession in Western Australia, especially in the area of specialisation.
It's important that the new members coming in realise the importance of that, of keeping things not static, but abiding by what the original doctrine of the group was intended to be.
Keep up with change and be careful to listen and understand carefully whether it's money that's guiding you or necessity to treat patients.
We've had such strong, fantastic characters in the dental study group that love dentistry, love, sharing knowledge and giving to younger dentists. So I think it's got a really good future, and I hope it goes for another 70 years.
The Dental Study Group of Western Australia has quietly been in the background supporting the development of modern dentistry locally. Its members have been unwaveringly dedicated to their profession, giving of their time willingly to share their knowledge and forge a stronger path forward for those who follow. We hope that this tradition continues for many years to come.